Yes guys, so this week Dunlop sent me all of my brand new rackets. So today I'm going to be taking them to a specialist, Paul Skip, who's going to get them all matched up to the same weight. I'm going to be doing a little bit of tinkering with the swing weight, balance and the overall weight to try and adjust it to what I want for this season. I hope you enjoy. So specs of this racket, let's run through them. 98 square inch, same as the one I'm using now. 305 grams, same as the one I'm using now, but that's why we've come to Paul to beef it up a little bit. 9 points headlight or 315 millimeters on the balance. 27 inches standard size of rackets. They do actually come, I think, Diego Schwartzman, is that right? Uses slightly 27 and a half?
Possibly.
Maybe even slightly larger. If you're short like him, unfortunately I don't have.
Marian Bartoli had 29.
There you go. So if you're short, you might have to get a specific racket, but I don't have those issues. 60x19 string pattern for. You get a little bit of extra spin, a little bit of extra power. I used to have 18-20 and that was a little bit too closed for me. So I prefer the 16-19 and as we were just talking about, 65 RA, which is the stiffness of the racket, which is 2 points up from what it was previously, basically meaning it's going to be a little bit more stiff, give you a little bit more stick on the volleys, and for me actually, I think it's going to be a slightly improvement, especially when I'm looking for a little bit more stability.
Overall, these are a lot better than the previous batch you had.
So well done to Dunlop for getting a bit closer.
So the balances are all within 1 millimetre of each other, which is great.
Yeah.
Weight generally within.
What's the heaviest and what's
the heaviest I've got is 304.2.
Oh, okay, so the heaviest is actually lower than the spec weight.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the lightest weight is 300.
So 5 grams difference.
5 grams difference, but that's fine. For most people, off the bat, pun the pun, if I was to string these up and hit them,
yeah,
most average people probably aren't going to pick up these differences.
Yeah.
Obviously you're not an ordinary person, so that's where we need to give you what you want and make sure they're all the same. So it's how we build it out. So let's see, you want a bit more stability, so we're going to put some weight at 3 and 9.
Yeah.
You want a little bit more head heavy? Is that you want as well?
I'd say slightly more head heavy than the current.
Okay, so I think maybe a target of maybe 310 in total. Is that going to be heavy enough for you, or do you want a bit heavier?
Well, you know more about what the other players, because I have not an amazing perception of like my weight, but I would rather it be slightly heavier and then get used to that.
Okay.
I mean, we
can look to do 315, which may work a little bit better.
Yeah.
With a 32 weight.
I wanted to ask whether we could have maybe try 2 rackets with varying specs, and I can go out and maybe play with them. If that was something we could.
Okay, we can certainly try.
I've got strings with me, so maybe we go one heavier and one kind of.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to start with, I'm going to put some lead on here, 3 and 9 to start with, probably like 4 grams.
Yeah.
And then the rest we can use almost like counterbalance. Bring the head up a little bit more, swing up a little bit more, and then counterbalance with the handle, and do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea to me.
First impressions, definitely feels a little bit thinner and stiffer, which it is. I feel like I'm getting a little bit more easy power because it's a little bit heavier, but I like the feeling of it being a little bit stiffer because I get a little bit more stick on the volleys. When I'm hitting it, I feel like I've got to control it a little bit more and generate my own power, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think the next racket that Paul's whipping up is going to be a little bit head heavier, so it's going to give me even more power. But so far I quite like it. I'm definitely getting more easy power. racket A, which is going to be similar to the final thing. It feels a little bit thinner. I feel like I have a little bit more like maneuverability. Definitely feels stiffer. So I feel like there's less racket flex when I'm hitting it. So I get a bit more of like a true to how I want to hit it. Backhand side, I get a lot more easy power. But even when I'm hitting that forehand hard, obviously conditions are quite tough. Yeah. But I feel like if I was like indoor hard, I could control it to get that power every time. Touch feels good as long as I'm kind of connecting with it decently. Serve feels good as well, get good power on it. It has what my current racket, what I wanted to get out of it was heavier, so a bit more power, a little bit more stability feeling, plus also a little bit stiffer so I can kind of stick the volleys and stick the smashes, which this one actually kind of has. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I think I liked it a lot. The second racket, it's a little bit more head heavy. I think it's going to give me a little bit more power, but whether I get the same amount of feel and control remains to be seen. I might switch in and out of the two rackets just to see the minute feelings, because it's going to be pretty similar. Definitely more head heavy. Backhand has pop. Right, so I feel like this one definitely more head heavy. I think he's put less weight at 3 and 9. It felt a little bit less like stable. You know how I said the other one feels kind of thin? That thinness was, I think comes from the fact that I could feel the whole racket head in a way. And I felt quite controlled with it through the air, feeling like it's going through the same motion. I think with this one it was a little bit less maneuverable and a bit too movable in like this. So I feel like that one I prefer from stability and from balance perspective. So, but I do think I could still do with maybe adding 5 grams just in the middle of that one.
So keeping
the same balance
yeah,
and the same head stability, but just adding 5 grams of weight overall, and then I think that one would be perfect. The first racket, I'll tell you how it felt. It felt I had a good control over it.
Yeah.
I felt even when I went big, I still had a lot of control.
Okay.
It had that feeling of that stableness I was talking about, because when I was going big, I felt like it might sound weird, but the racket angle through the air wasn't moving at all, it was staying the same, which gave me a good control.
Okay.
Weight-wise, I think a good weight, maybe 5 grams more.
Okay.
To just beef it up a little bit, because I thought there was a little bit of room for that.
Okay.
This racket is definitely more head heavy in terms of the balance, and maybe heavier swing weight wise.
Yeah.
I felt like you might have put less weight here because it felt a little bit less stable moving through the air as I was hitting it, and that meant that I just felt like on a few shots, if I wasn't swinging really like with good timing, it was more difficult to get kind of that power feeling from it. And I felt like on the volleys, this one just gave me a lot more easy power just from moving the racket like this, whereas this one was a little bit more like I had to kind of really control it a lot more.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
So the first one
has
got 4 grams inside, you've got 8 grams.
Yeah.
There, because I made them up to 315
grams unstrung weight. Okay.
Yeah. So to whatever was left between putting that weight on and the 315 went in the butt and the handle.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. The balance between the two is very similar. The swing weight is a little higher on the second one for sure.
Yeah, that's what I noticed.
By about 4 points. That's the difference between having, effectively what you've done between the first and second one is taken 8 on the 3 and 9 there.
Yeah,
effectively what I've done is I've taken 4 of that, or half of that off, and put that at the tip.
Yeah.
So that gives you a difference hit between those two, so you have got a different feeling.
Yeah.
You know, you can go up an extra 5 grams,
Yeah.
which is fine. What I would say is, do you think if we added 5 grams or so, or 4 grams actually, at on the second rack at 3 and 9, do you think that would be better, because it should then give you that stability off the first one, but a little bit more extra weight going through? Now obviously if I put 4 grams at 3 and 9, it's going to put the spring weight up another 2-3 points. So the difference between that one and the first one would then be around about 6 or so spring points different. And that's what we are be looking at. Or you just, you just say, do you know what, the first one seemed pretty good, I like that one, that would definitely work for now. And if we want to add weight, additional weight later, we can do that.
What would happen if we added, because a small part of this one I liked, but I thought it was just too much at the top.
Okay.
I like the stability here. What would happen if we added, let's say, 1.5 grams at the top?
Okay.
I feel it needs like the smallest bit more swing weight. Not there. I'd say a quarter of the way the difference.
We can just put 1 gram up there and
then maybe like 2 grams where to make sure that the balance is similar to this.
It will be though, because if you think, if you only add a bit of weight at the tip, because that already has double 3 and 9, the difference
is not
much, because it's still got a heavier plough through that middle. Whereas the reason why that one feels different to you is because there's a lot less of it and more controlled weight.
So
no, I get what you mean. So if you add 1 at the top.
So we'd have 1 at the top, an additional 1 in the bottom.
I'd say we try that. So this with 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom, and then the same here, I'd say is good. We go for that, and then I go away and I'll play with it for 2 months, and then we come back and we can say, okay, I felt it was a little bit this, a little bit that, and then. But I think that's good. I prefer this one. I think that would be perfect.
That's fine.
Beauty. The rain was destroying one of these strings.
Well, yeah, it's all fresh as well, so. Okay, good to see you, Felix. Take care. I'll keep an eye on those results for you.
Hopefully it'll be good.
Good, and we'll see you in a
few weeks
time.
Alright. Cheers, Paul. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let's try and get the channel to 10,000 subscribers as fast as possible, and I'll see you guys in the next video.